Hello and welcome to this Pyrodigital Pyro Talk. Today we have Matt here with us from Atlas PyroVision, and we will talk about Pyrodigital Wireless. We will talk about the history of Pyrodigital Wireless. We will talk about what is currently Pyrodigital Wireless with the Eagle Wireless bases, how to use them, what you can do with them, what they are good for. And we will also talk about the future developments that are currently in the pipeline here in the Pyrodigital Laboratory. So thank you for being here and enjoy the interview.
Hey, Matt. Thank you for being with us and thank you for taking the time to say something about the Eagle Wireless system that we're presenting today. If you could just tell the people since when you have the Eagles in your company and especially why did you decide to get them at all?
Thank you, Marcel. It's absolutely great to get to see you. We didn't get to go to Germany this year to be able to see some of your new work and of course drink beer in Germany. But this is good. It's the Eagle Wireless has actually been very good for us. Um, Probably about 10 to 15 years ago, began developing mini barge systems, particularly
Hmm.
for replacement of trying to find a barge and the expenses of barges in smaller water areas, as well as coming up with places that we can launch a barge and do a fireworks display where ordinarily people would not be able to have one, particularly in smaller lakes, ponds. The Pyrodigital has always been our go-to system for any sort of fireworks display, particularly ones that are programmed. We do a tremendous amount of not only synchronized to music displays, but also fireworks displays that are just basically designed and choreographed on computer. So the problem has always been with using these mini barges is that we're not on them. And the mini barge comes with a support boat, and usually we're about 100 to 150 feet away.
Yeah.
And it's a really long stretch to run a cable. And the issue with that comes that we can either be tethered to the barge or not. So over the years, we experimented with other systems that had wireless, which used a more consumer grade card wireless. And so you were sort of at the mercy of the fact that it was consumer grade. And though it worked well, it the problem you run into is if you decide that you go too far, then you will suddenly notice that your show is not firing.
What are typical
Um,
distances for your shows with the barges?
Well, like anything, you try to stay as close as possible, but sometimes you're not. And sometimes you need to, if you have multiple barges, you may need to go over to the other barge. And particularly on water. And a lot of people have to remember that barges are metal and water is a conductor. And so water has always affected radio signals of any type. Unless it's AM radio, water and any sort of a high frequency radio signal is always going to be sort of a problem. So, you want to make sure that you're usually as close as you can, but that isn't always the case. So, a number of years ago, we decided to try the Pyro Studios wireless, which actually worked out quite well for us. It was the first wireless system that we could use for the Pyro Digital, and it was a great system for what it was. There were some things, it was a little small. I think it was maybe more designed for something indoors and special effects wise versus outside on, a barge or somewhere where it would be out in the field. But there were some quirks. It was made in China, and there were things that it was made also not only in China, but also made so that it was cost effective for people. And as we all know, the cost is in this industry is always relative to quality. And as I've always told people, particularly some of my team members, that the cost of a firing system is basically, if it goes wrong, is basically the cost of the display that you just lost because you were not able to fire it. So here at Atlas, we invested in the Pyrodigital, which was not the cheapest system back in the 90s and 2000. And we continued on with, purchasing your new Pyrodigital system that you have. And at the same time, when we came to Germany and drank beer, we got to see the prototype for the Eagle wireless system. The Eagle wireless system impressed me from the first time that I saw it in your factory, and the reason why was because it was robust. We like to joke and say it looks like a microwave oven, but it's designed to be out in the.
That's actually true.
It's designed to be put next to fireworks. It's not designed to be, hiding somewhere. And so the size of it actually was for us a benefit, because with the old system that we had from Pyro Studios, they were so small that the cable alone would move it, and you'd have to gaff tape it to a bigger case. Well, I don't have to do that anymore. The other part is it's self-contained, so the battery is in the system.
Yeah.
And I don't have to run other cables that can burn or just malfunction.
There was actually a big discussion back then when we engineered it. If we go with the same concept that the battery pack's outside, or if we put it in. So I'm happy you say you liked it, that it is within the case. But I also know a lot of customers would like to have a smaller size. That's why we will also go to this mini Eagle version. And I hope these customers that like the smaller package more will like that more. But sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just thought I add this information in.
Unfortunately, when it comes to size, whether it's an automobile, whether it's a TV, a washing machine, no matter what it is, trying to make one size that fits all is always going to be an issue. But I think for what you have put together, the Eagle wireless is you hit a home run right out of the gate. Now you can make some changes. You can make new ones that are smaller that will work, but there's going to be a sacrifice. For our application, which is primarily out in the field, primarily on the water, which are very difficult things to work around. And a lot of people sometimes misunderstand, or they feel that that these units are just like something that you would have in your office, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
We have to design these and use these in some of the worst case situations that are out there. You have, sulfur, you have water, you have rain, you have explosions. You're not grounding the unit. There are so many things that can go wrong. And by the way, you have about 30 seconds to figure out what your problem is in the event that it does go wrong during the show.
Yeah.
So the Eagle Wireless for us has really been something that we liked. We have 5 of them that are, we're able to use them for multiple barge systems, which helps pay for itself for us because we're able to capture multiple barge shows that, we produce these multiple barge shows, and we use the Eagle Wireless with just the one transmitter and either the 1, 2, 3, or 4 slaves that we have. There are other things that, because of the mini barges that we're using, there are some very convenient features that the Eagle Wireless has that I have not seen in other wireless units. For one, we're able to find out what the signal is from the base. And this means that we know where we need to be in position in case we're too far away from one of the barges if we spread them out. The other part to it is that I can actually status on the barge with the unit that's there. So, it's sort of like a Pyrodigital without a brain. It doesn't have the script, but it will tell me that I have continuity with everything that's there. And that can be incredibly useful when you have mini barges that are 200 to 300 feet apart. You don't have to keep going back and forth. You can status the ones that are on there as long as you know what your modules are on that. And then you can go to the next one, and then you can go to the next one, and then you can do a whole status, and it works out very well.
For the people that do not know the Eagle so well, so the Eagle has the option that you can make a local check status on the device itself to the connected network. That's what you meant, Matt, when you
Correct.
said
Yep.
checking on the barge before you're leaving, right?
Yes. So the local status ability is absolutely fantastic. That just really, especially if you've just fixed a module, and during continuity you find that there's a module that's not working or there's something that's not plugged in, and you fix it, you don't have to then hop off the barge, get on the boat, back off, and do it again. You can just walk up to the Eagle Wireless and you can turn it to the testing mode, and there you go, and it works. And then there's the distance. Now, because of the applications that we're using them on, we haven't really needed to put longer antennas on, or bigger antennas. And part of that is
Are you
because
still
the
using
little short.
you're still using the small ones that come with it?
Yes, yes. So we use the small antennas because they're low profile. And again, they're in a position where I don't want any damage to that antenna. So we use the small antennas, and I've been able to get about 1,000 feet during status checks with them. And of course, in the business that we're in, I've never actually pushed it to find out when my show stopped firing. But what I can tell you is that you have to go quite a ways, because as everyone knows who's worked with a Pyrodigital wireless, status always is going to be a shorter distance than on the regular shooting of the fireworks display. So, between the size of the unit and how it's really designed for being out in the field, and the ability to go and do a localized status, the fact that we can go a long distance, and that I can actually check right before the show and make sure that everything is all on, is really one of the best parts about it. It's really like shooting cabled, and the unit has, to the human, the unit has no delay. I have used it in a special effects environment, and I will tell you that there are some features.
Shooting it manually?
I have used it in a special effects environment, both manually and in auto fire. And there are some other features there that are nice. One is that when you're shooting it manually and you hit your cue, the cue goes right off. So that really shows that there is not a delay there. The other part that is nice, particularly when you're shooting on a concert stage or multiple stages or different parts of that, is the ability to have a dead man at the source. So if you were front of house and you were in communication with someone who was on stage as your safety person, they can have the ability to have a dead man right there as if they were standing. So in the event that there is a problem and they see a problem, they can literally turn that dead man off, or turn the dead man on and shut that off immediately.
So you mean like you are in control of a dead man at the control booth, but you can also have a second spotter that is like directly on the receiving Eagle slave unit that is connected to the network on stage. So there's someone on stage that can have a second dead man.
Correct.
That's what you mean, right?
The beauty of the system is that the receiving unit can be controlled by the spotter, and the spotter can have a dead man. And in the event that they see a problem, there is no delay of between the person who's actually, running the panel. The spotter has the power to control the dead man and stop that, which is absolutely one of the most important things that you can have. So in a special effects environment, the other great part about it is, especially if you're working on a track or you're working on something that you don't have to run any cable. So I've done some in-field work where I was actually in the booth for a race, and everything was in the center field, and I was able to not, just put the wireless unit right there, and it communicated perfectly, and I knew what was going on, and everything worked out really well. So what else would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so you have any comments on range? You have covered that. How easy do you think it is to use? I mean, of course we gave our best, but if you have any critics regarding the ease of use, they're welcome.
So I've always said that if you don't read the instructions and you're able to turn something on and use it, then a job has been well done. And the reason why I say that is that that means that you have made it interactive. And what I did find out is when I first received them and assembled them, I wanted to play with it before I read the directions and watch the YouTube videos. So I turned it on and fooled around with it a little bit. And I did find that it was very interactive and very intuitive for just basically being able to turn it on and off and getting it put together. The YouTube videos that you have, along with the instructions, are great. They get to show you all of the things that it is able to do. And there are so many things that you've put into it that even Atlas wouldn't be able to use. But if you were, you could conceivably produce quite a number of locations with one Eagle wireless and one transmitter. It's been well thought out, and we're going to continue to use them and eventually purchase more as time goes on, and we continue to use them more, and more of our team members are able to use them as well.
Thank you. I just have to say for everyone watching, I did not pay Matt for that. Thank you for this. Thank you for this great recommendations. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm really flattered. Reliability. I have that on my list. Do you have any? Can you state anything about the reliability of operation with the devices? Are you happy with it?
The reliability of the unit is great. We haven't had any issues. I haven't had to make phone calls to you to say, hey, this broke or what have you. I think as you continue to improve these units, one thing that we have a tendency of using these units is in salt water. Mm-hmm. And where there's salt water, there's salt everything. And I've noticed that like the keys, everything the key related seems to have a little bit of a salt spray on them that I think that light corrosion that normal electronics would never be used in. And I would suggest that maybe going forward that you come up with something that maybe is a little bit sort of friendly, works for the salt, but they work. And it's just, but again, we're using them new, and we've had them for a few years, so each one of them has probably been on about 25 shows, maybe 30. That's in the salt air. You have a little cap that you put on them, which is great for the keys. So that's Otherwise, we haven't had any sort of issues at all.
I had the question on my list to ask you if you have anything that you think is important to mention about the Eagles, but I think you already kind of covered that, except there's something else coming to your mind?
No, they're a great unit. They are something that does what you're asking them to do very well. And I think that that is the most important. In this 15 minutes of our conversations, it may not sound like I have. I'm talking a lot about all of the different applications, but I think that with my experience in fireworks and in special effects over the years, I can't think of where you would not be able to use them. But everyone is going to need to come up with their own applications for these. It just happened to be our interest in these were very important because of the fact that we rely on these mini barges
Mm-hmm.
that we
Mm-hmm.
have for these fireworks displays that we produce. However, I would say that somebody who's using them on multiple buildings would probably be able to benefit just as much as we do. It really is a fully wireless unit that works flawlessly with Pyrodigital, which is a three-wire system. And the fact that you're able to produce wireless, something that this industry waited for many years to have before Pyro Studios came out, is absolutely amazing, and it's great. And we're going to continue to use it here at Atlas for all of the displays that we produce that need to have it.
Cool. So you would buy them again? That was the last question on my list. Perfect.
We would buy them again. Then we will continue to purchase them, and probably as you develop the smaller ones, we may find a use for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
For us, I don't really see that we'll need that part because everything that we use, that size is perfect for us. But it may come down to something that's that way. Of course, I think, and this is true for the industry overall, is whether it's a Pyrodigital or it's a wireless Eagle or anything else, is some sort of ability to have an app with a Bluetooth for status checking or whatever will always be great. But I also know that that is something that is a lot harder to work with during for a small industry as we are. But it's absolutely bulletproof. You can go up we're in New England, and I've used it in really cold weather, and I've used it in really hot weather, and it worked the same the whole time, which is great because not all firing systems do well in the heat. And the fact that yours did really well in some really hot days and then some really, really cold sub-zero temperatures that we've used them up in the the ski areas and some of the hotels that we do that are up north in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Was great because that shows that also the quality of your components is good, which is at the end of the day one of the most important parts.
Thank you. That's something we never save money on.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think that has always been the assurance of Pyrodigital. And whether or not it's you as the second generation of Pyrodigital, or the Ken Nixon and his brothers with the original Pyrodigital, the one thing that we have found out over the years compared to any other firing system that's out there that we've used is that there has never been for us a failure in the components. And we're talking about some of our oldest Pyrodigitals now are from 1995.
Hmm.
And, we've had them upgraded, and we've had, of course, the capacitors and some of the other ones changed because those do age. They work flawlessly. And as long as you change the batteries every couple of years and change the little batteries and whatever. So it's been great to see the transition. that you created an agreement with Ken Nixon and with Pyrodigital, and that you carried on his love for quality electronics. And we all know that Ken loves quality, whether it's a Pyrodigital or it's a Corvette or it's those little locks that he likes to sell, which are absolutely off the charts. And so it's been nice to see that you and your dad and everybody that's there has been able to continue that. And so what happens is that we know that everything that you make, whether it's the Pyrodigital or it's the little guy, the little Pyrodigital,
The
baby
Raptor?
the Raptor, the little baby Pyrodigital, or whether it's the Eagle Wireless, we know the components are great. So we know that that's the same expectations that we're going to have with the Pyrodigital, and that is, I think, one of the best things is that I know that anything that you send to me that I purchase is going to work flawlessly.
Matt, thank you so much for all the trust in us. I'm really honored that you give us that trust, and especially in these Corona times where you don't get around, you don't see people so much. It's so nice just to talk to you again. And
yeah, absolutely, and the same here, Marcel.
And thank you so very much to make this interview with me for this product presentation. Had been great, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Marcel. You too. Enjoy yourself and have a good dinner.
I'll do. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.